my day as a Sagittarius. I believe, I know it's the 6th of the month of June. I actually was signing documents talking about it was May earlier. I was signing documents talking about it was May, and I'm like, how am I so off? So it's 6/6/2019. So it's 6/6 today. I will be doing a whole lot of documents today. Islam, peace, and love. I see you. Can you see me? Of course I can't see you, Robert. How am I going to see you? Moors, get your grids done. Islam, Yusuf, get your grids done, Moors. Let me tell you, I had some interesting energy going on with me yesterday, and I had to meditate. I had to really go inward, and I had a beautiful, beautiful dream last night. I don't really want to tell everybody about my dream last night because I usually don't recall my dreams. I usually don't recall them very easily, but last night I recalled my dream very, 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 very easily. It was me going back into my domicile, and it was a beautiful, beautiful experience, and it was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful dream. It really was. It was a dream that told me through just the way it made me feel that I have nothing to concern myself with or to worry about. And even though, once you wake up, you kind of forget all of the dreams, but you remember mostly, or you recall mostly how it made you feel. And it made me feel very, very, very great, actually. That's the feeling I had when I woke up. I kind of made a call to Light, and I told her, because I didn't want to forget it. So then when I did speak to her later on today, because we 3 hours difference, I didn't want to forget it, so I had sent her a message, and it was very, very interesting. But anyway, I didn't really come on this live feed to talk about that. I came on this live feed because it's been a minute since I've done a live feed, and I wanted to remind you guys that tonight we have the weekly call, the Thursday call, which is the weekly call we have, being hosted by the Consulate General, Amor. Amor will be hosting the call tonight. That's on free conference call, so everybody please make sure you tune in. And if you have questions, that is the platform, and that is the time to ask those questions. Obviously, 99.9% of the Judiciary will be on that call for questions, including myself, Sharon, Tracey, Gale. So that's tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern time on free conference call. You can go into the group and find that information out on how to log in. You can either do it through the internet, or you can call in and be on the phone. In addition to that, on Sunday, my weekly class at the Havertown Free Library is scheduled from 1:30 to 4:30. That is 1:30 to 4:30 at the Free Havertown Library. The mailing location for that event is, write this down, Moors, 1601 Darby Road, care of 1601 Darby Road, near the Havertown, Pennsylvania Republic. Again, that is care of 1601 Darby Road, near Havertown, Pennsylvania Corporation. Islam, that is where the class will be held. So if you need to come down and get your nationality documents sealed, if you need to order your nationality identification cards, if you need to record your nationality to receive your Moorish American Consulate record number, that is the day to do it. Moors, please come prepared. Please come prepared. If you don't come prepared, let us know. Normally when I have the class, I always have at least 6 original documents of the name declaration and judicial proclamation. The name declaration and the judicial proclamation, the order forms for the nationality identification cards, and the information sheet. I normally have those documents for people who want to come down and declare and proclaim their nationality and get all of the information for them to get grid 1 done. Tier 1 of the grid done. Tier 1 of the grid is nationality identification cards, and sending it to the 7 locations. That's grid 1. So it's very, very simple and very, very easily to get grid 1 done. especially if you come to class. If you come to class, you get grid 1 completely done because you get your consulate number, you get your you order for your nationality identification cards, and you process your nationality documents as well. So you can get that done in one day if you take the time and plan accordingly to come down. Now, if you want meetings, if you call me and say, Sharon, I'm in town, I'm coming to town, can we meet? Please be prepared, y'all. Please be prepared. My time is very, very valuable, and I don't have a lot of it because many people call me. I set up appointments all throughout the week with different Moors. So please come prepared. And when I say come prepared, have your documents already printed out. Have all your documents already printed out. Plan accordingly to come down and just get that stuff done. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Because it is very it's very burdensome to sit there and have to kind of wait for you to print out documents. While I don't mind it, I have things to do as well. So please come prepared, meaning if you're coming down and you want to do your nationality documents and you already are getting them prepared, take those extra couple of hours at your domicile and print it all out. Do your checklist, have everything done, so when you come down to meet with me, you have it already done, and all I'm doing is signing and sealing, and creating and establishing record numbers. That means have your name declaration already done, have your judicial proclamation already done, have the order form for the nationality already done, and have the information sheet done. So when we meet, it's not a long experience because I don't really have 2, 3, 4 hours all the time to spend with individuals, especially when I'm doing you a favor and assisting where someone else was supposed to kind of meet with you, and you were in town and you called me and I was available. I wasn't absolutely available because I made sure I got what I needed to do before you came down, but just be mindful that, everybody is in a crunch. Really, everybody is being forced to make changes pretty quickly. So because everybody's being forced to make changes pretty quickly, we all have work to do, and we're all, getting the work done. So the Judiciary team of the Moorish American Consulate, the Moorish National Republic Federal Government, has put so much time and energy. We meet every week, go over processes, we go over new directives, we send out new writs and affidavits, we go over new processes, we update the Moorish American Consulate grid, which is being updated right now with most needed processes, and to make it at least a little bit easier to navigate and to find all of the documents because every document has gotten its own record number. So you can just literally go into Google and put that record number in if the document is calling for it, that particular process is calling for it, and you can download it at your leisure, either from the file section of the Facebook group, which is Moorish American Consulate in Iamexum Facebook group. That's Moorish American Consulate in Iamexum. That's a Facebook group, and in the file section, all of that, all those documentations are there. Everything. As soon as we come up with new directives, they automatically go in the file section. They're downloaded in that file section, along with other Moors putting their recording their documents, which we encourage Moors to record all their documents there. So it can take a little bit of time looking through those documents. Again, we're going to update the website as we can, but things are coming at us so quickly, and we have to take nationality processes their priority in regards to other things. This is like a public notifications. I just went down into the county office yesterday to record 2 additional titles for 2 additional properties that's been conveyed into my private trust, the Sharon Moabite Trust. Those 2 property titles I did yesterday. In addition to going down there to see the sheriff, based on the website, the sheriff of the Delaware County Corporation Company of Pennsylvania. His name is Jerry Saunders. I went down there to get my writ of execution signed, and I've been having very difficult time getting him meeting with him, because every time that I go down, and this is like the 4th to 5th time that I've been down at the county, Delaware County Delaware County building. That's the 4th or 5th time I've been down there, and every time I go down there, he's conveniently in a meeting. So I need Moors to put some energy on that, put some energy on him being available and able and available for all Moorish American nationals that are required, which are the people, which is what he took an oath to, what all sheriffs take an oath to? They take an oath to the people, y'all. They take an oath to the people to adhere to the Constitution for the United States of America. That's the people. They are here to support, defend, and protect the people. And the only people here that are in lawful standing are the Moorish American nationals. Everybody else is either a subject or a outlaw, bandit, and terrorist, because they have not corrected their status in regards to how they identify in society. So the people they are supposed to be upholding and supporting and protecting and defending are the Moorish American nationals. So when we come into any venue, all venues at Morocco, which is where you are required, you are commanded to be available for the Moors, for the lawful documents that they come down to have, not necessarily approved. We're just letting you know. We're doing our public notification to let you know the conveyances, as well as anything that we're doing on our land. It is your responsibility to be available. Yes, we are we can indict. Yes, exactly. So Jerry Saunders, who is based on the website and based on all of the documentations and the photos in the building, is the sheriff of that particular corporation company, is required under oath and under law to be available. I've left my contact information with your administrative assistant. I've left that information, so I command, and all the Moors, which are the people that you are here to support and defend and protect, are requiring you to be available to do your duty. All of the corporate business that you've been doing outside of that, or that's been done in your behalf because your name is listed on everything, until delegation of authority, meaning until we are provided with information validating that you, Jerry Saunders, has appointed or deputized any of those other employees of that corporation. They are not no sheriff deputy, no chief deputy, until we see some documentation and we can validate that standing in our country and at Morocco. Islam. So thank you, Tangi. Definitely, we the people can indict him, and we are the people. Yes, we make the law. We make the laws. We make the rules. I've been posting a lot of documentation, a lot of videos that Light has been looking at and dissecting, that the Albions have been telling you. They tell you, but because we're not used to the manner for which they explain and express things to us, we get a little bit, I wouldn't say confused, we just don't, because they're talking to us, but at the same time acting as if they're not talking to us. Obviously the gold fringes off of the flags, that's a couple of documentations, a couple of news articles that came out, have been lifted because of our directives as the judiciary team of the actual government at Morocco, the Moorish National Republic federal government. Those gold fringes have been taken off all of the banners. Those gold fringes have been taken off all of the banners. Those gold fringes have been placed on those banners as acts of war and admiralty law. Admiralty law is no longer on the land, because based on that demonstration with Donald Trump, he is they are no longer at war with the Aboriginal indigenous Moabites of Morocco, Northwest Amexem, where you domicile here currently. So that means all of our brothers and sisters that have declared or proclaimed their nationality are commanded to be released from all of these POW camps all over, whether they're private, whether they're public. They are to be released. They are commanded to be set free from all of these corporate venues, whether they are prisons, whether they are jails. Those are no longer POW camps, because you have admitted on live TV, which is a lawful affidavit and unrebutted stand as law, that you're not warring against us. And if you're not warring against us anymore, based on our directives that we gave earlier this month or earlier this week, you're to release all of those prisoners of war. Islam. So put some energy on that. Put some energy. Make sure you keep sending out those notifications. Keep this in mind. I go all over over the place when I do these public announcements, because there's so much information and there's so much that we have to do as a nation. Unification is one of them, to unify, universally unify as brothers and sisters, and to realize that we need to stop warring against each other. And we need to stop pushing out hate and negativity towards each other, and be there in solidarity to the Moorish American nationals. Islam. What else? If you receive these bills, unlawful bills of attainder, from these hypothecators under color of law authority, where they're sending you war rants in the name of a corporation that you've nullified and canceled, and it is not you, you are required to do one of two things: either notice of removal, or do the writ, affidavit of fact, writ of discovery, which includes the averment of jurisdiction, quo warranto, and the third be notice of default. So those are 3 documents. I uploaded the masters to the file section of the group that I mentioned earlier today. Download those documents and the supporting documents that go with it. There's also a 4th document, which is called the Moorish American Consulate document recording for that particular series. And when I downloaded them, I put I put the instructions in with the download. So when you go to it, it's going to give you a quick little instructions on how to kind of do that. The writ of discovery is where the writ of discovery, the challenge of the jurisdiction, that is all to be filed at the county, to be filed at the county with the so-called unlawful bill of attainder. Also, when you file there, you also want to record it with the consulate and record it on your Facebook or some other public notice, Moorish public notice website. In addition to that, use Script. I use Script. That's where you're going to download majority, if not in the file section of the Facebook, or majority of the files, the documents, the lawful directives and commands and affidavits, which stand as law if unrebutted. When unrebutted, because an individual who does not have status at Morocco, which means a standing in society, does not have an ability to rebut anything, because they got to first, before they try to rebut anybody's claim, and everybody's claim be in their proper person. And that is either through nationality, if you are a Moabite, or through subject status, if you are a foreigner who is squatting here unlawfully. What else did I want to say? So that information you definitely need to download. Don't wait till the last minute to get it done. As soon as you get those unlawful bills of attainder, you want to start that writ of discovery, quo warranto, and notice of default process, along with the supporting documentations that go with it. You want to automatically start that as soon as they try to act belligerent, where they're trying to act as if they don't recognize you when they don't have no standing and status at Morocco at all. And law treats to everything that I'm saying, not ideas, not beliefs, not thoughts and manifestations of my own ignorant mindset. What else did I want to say? So when you do those things, you also want to lean. This is why leaning is so important. Demetrius down at New York is about to have a lean class next week. Down in New York, he's going to post the actual location. He was supposed to email and text me the information so I could give it to you, but he didn't do that. So Demetrius Barker Bay, that is Demetrius Barker Bay, the New York Post head of the Moorish American Consulate, will be having a lean class down in the corporate territory of New York. And later on, this is next Wednesday. Or next week. I'm not sure if it's actually Wednesday. So definitely be involved in that. Light to Jerry Bay, she has a lean class on her YouTube channel, which is Light to Jerry Bay, in regards to learning how to do the lean. And just maybe, gotta think about it. We'll talk about, since people need to be able to understand this process, because the lean process is pretty much in the middle of every process that we do, because just like contrary to popular belief, the 2 or 3 minute video that was posted last night or the day before, it was in regards to Albion's talking about globalism versus imperialism. Now, if you know what they're saying, what they're ultimately saying, because they use words that people can't really understand, because people aren't used to using those different words to fool you. So here is Globalism is beyond, where they want complete world uniformity of law and industry, like everybody on the same foot. Globalism, connecting. And then you have imperialism. Well, imperialism is the individuals who are the sovereigns of the land, who really make the laws and who really make the laws, rules, and regulations that anybody that comes as a foreigner to their land has to adhere by. That's imperialism. And that makes sense. And if they had a place that they were sovereign to, they would not be in controversy with that status if they had that status. So because they don't have that status, because wherever they go on this land, they are squatting if not invited in, by subject status wherever they go, which is why they've created and they have established, as well as why they have been perpetrating this demo system, the democracy, because they want a few to manage the many, but then they want to keep you outside of your sovereignty, which is why everybody identifies unlawfully and illegally as a nom de guerre. As a nom de guerre or a U.S. citizen or a U.S. citizens of whatever landmass, because it doesn't matter what landmass you are. If you're identifying as a service corporation, you are identifying as an indentured servant of a corporation, and that is the realities. You can feel how you got to feel about it. That's the realities. So that's what globalism or the democracy is. We've always had a republic form of government, and before we had a republic form of government, we had an imperialism or an empire, where if people wanted to come to Morocco, which is the landmass you currently domicile on, the United States is a service corporation that has been unlawfully violating you, hence the reasons why we leaned them. September the 11th, 2018, effectively dissolving their standing and status at Morocco which is their commercial chartered contractual agreement here at Morocco. So, and which is up for sale, mind you, to the highest bidder under love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and the supreme laws of the land. What I want to say in regards to that, I wanted to say something else in regards to that. So that's what kind of, globalism, and then you got imperialism. Well, you're the sovereigns of the land in your sovereign capacity once you declare and proclaim your nationality. Once you declare and proclaim your nationality, you're back in sovereignty status, which is why they sit here and put all of this social media out there, all of these crazy movies trying to tell you I'm black and I'm proud, and all of this Black Panther, even though the movie was great and had great symbolism, but it also showed you how some of your own wearing turbans and feathers will put you back into slavery, or won't even assist you, as it is their right and duty to do so based on chapter 25, where you're supposed to not seek a stranger versus thy own blood. You're supposed to be there in solidarity for your people. So when you sit here and call mercenaries, which are so-called policy enforcers, which is unlawfully claiming to be law enforcement, when you contact these individuals as a nom de guerre, it is our responsibility as the Judiciary government to lien you, because you're violating. And you're under a commercial agreement, and until you get back into the family, not the family, the tribe, till you come back to yourself through nationality, do self-identification into your nation, you're an outlaw, bandit, and a terrorist. That's lawful. I ain't talking ideas. I ain't talking beliefs. I'm talking reality. I'm talking the actual lawful. Let's call it lawful. Islam. I gotta breathe because I talk fast. Because I don't like to be on really long Facebook Lives. I don't really like long Facebook Lives, but I want to get you the point. So if people call these individuals on you, it is your duty, it is your lawful fiduciary duty to lien them, because they're violating the Constitution, and they first violated the Constitution as well as the supreme laws of the land by identifying outside of their nationality and their nativity. The Zodiac Constitution speaks of it. The Holy Quran speaks of it. Constitution speaks of it. So there's no reason. Dred Scott case speaks to it. Speaking of Dred Scott, as well as William Dungy cases, go download those cases. They are in the file section, but they're probably way down, and I'm not going to upload it again. Just when you go to the file section of the group in Facebook, just in the search, just search it, and it should come up. It should come up, or a list of articles or a list of posts in that group should come up to let you easily, quickly go into that, so you don't have to scroll all the way down. However, scrolling all the way down there's nothing wrong with that, because as you scroll down, you'll find a whole bunch of documents that you probably need to download anyway. So as we do put those documents up there, just download them. So you're not downloading a whole bunch at one time. Just download them to a stick, or download them to your hard drive, so you'll have the information when you need it. Islam, and then as we put updates to different documents and just replace them. And this is the effective way of doing your due diligence as the heirs and the sovereigns, because you need to learn these things, and you can't look for other people to do things for you all the time. Even though as the judiciary, as your judiciary and as your judge and vizier, Sharon, Tracey, Gale, it's my responsibility, it's my charge, it's my oath to provide you with the documentation as well as the steps and processes for you to be able to easily navigate in your nobility. It is my responsibility. Don't send me messengers in Facebook, as well as in Facebook. Send me text messages on my phone, my cell phone. Text messages on my cell phone. For if you need record numbers, send them through there. But don't just say, oh, I need a record number. You got to sit here and state your appellation so at least I know who you are. And if you have been recorded, put that there too. So when you need a number, all I can do is check the database to see if you've already recorded with us, and because your recordings of your lawful documents is connected to your recording of your nationality. So whenever you need to ask me, oh Sharon, when did I record this? Well, I'll have that information. Also, email me the documents once you've completed them, so I can save them in the drive in the database as well. Because once we really get the Moorish National Republic Federal Government website up, that'll be the public notice, as well as the Moorish American Consulate. And once you put your Moorish American nationality record number up there, every lawful document that you recorded will come up with that if you provided us with that information. And the information would be the MAC number for that record, which is a MAC-R, which denotes to it being a recording of a lawful documentation, the title of the documentation, and a PDF of the actual document. So I'm always looking ahead, and every process that I assist and establish is doing that as well. So, even though you might lose it, or it might get stolen from you by these mercenaries, the records will be in multiple places. Script is another one. Where did I leave off? I go all over the way. Any and every time I call. Mike Gale, come on, stop. Don't come on here, just stop, Mike Gale. Seriously. If you call, leave a text message. Every time people can't call you, because you got to keep in mind, we get a lot of calls all day, and then we got to get work done. We get a lot of calls all day, we have meetings all week, and we go pick up hundreds of documents for nationality, IDs, recordings, and different things like that. So we're not always going to be able to answer the phone. This is why that, let's say, I ain't going to call customer service line, Moorish National line, Moorish National Consul line needs to really be manifested, because we need to have consuls answering those calls, because we as a judiciary can't answer all of your calls all of the time. And Mike Gale, you call a lot. So you have to start coming to classes. If you're local, come to classes. We are manifesting another class during the week, maybe 2 or 3, not necessarily sure. We have to figure this out. So be not always looking for somebody to give something back. And that's your time and energy in assisting with some processes that we could use some assistance with. And calls is definitely one of those things we can use assistance with. The file section is not there by accident. It's there so when you need something, you're not sending me an email and it's not sitting in my email bin for several days or even several weeks, because it got hidden by all the other emails or email requests for documents. That's why they're there. So you can go download the documents. That's why the grid's out there. The grid's out there so you can know where to go, what to do next, and you don't need to call me or to call any of the other judiciaries in that regards. Moors, sit down, watch those videos. I don't do the videos just because I like seeing myself. I do the videos because I know you need this support. I do the videos so you can go out there, print the documentation that you need, and stand on your square. The mantra. Do you know the mantra? So you don't start talking about subject matter, because subjects talk about subject matter. You're not a subject, don't ever talk about subject matter. Subjects talk about subject matter. But it is a great thing to know under their hegemony, within their tribe. And when I say tribe, that's their people, that's their family. So when you say court, no, you want to say tribal, your tribunal. because that's between, and that lets them know it's only supposed to be people who are within their tribunal that are subject to those corporate companies styling themselves as so-called courts and so-called governments. You're not supposed to be in there, so you need to know that subject matter. I had it when I went to go get something done. I had to go to a notary for something, and it was an auto tags place. So I went into this notary, and it was an auto tag place, and the first thing they said, and I gave them my nationality identification card as proof of who I am. And they was like, well, what is this? And I said, it's a nationality identification card. That's like, well, don't you have anything from the state of Pennsylvania, like a driver's license or something to that effect? And I said, well, no, I'm a Moorish American national. This is Morocco. The land that you're standing on is Morocco, and I'm a Moorish American national. And she was like, well, we can't take this ID. I was like, well, lawfully you are required and commanded to take that ID, because based in your hegemony, your so-called tribunal, your so-called society, it says that absence of a nationality identification card, you would accept these other corporate cards, which is a birth certificate, social security card, or driving instrument. Absence of an ID. So I pulled up my laptop. I pulled up her directives, because they were looking at their processes. I was like, look in your policy, look in your processes. You might not really know about it because people are so used to getting certain cards that don't identify you, because people don't expire. That's one. People don't expire, so why would you have an expiration date on your nationality identification card or any identification card that identifies you? Why would there be an expiration date on it? Because you don't expire. When you expire, you're no longer here, no longer needing a freaking card. Message? So anyway, so I went to the Department of Justice website, and I showed her, and I was like, read the first paragraph. She read it. And then, wait a minute, let me tell you how we read, but read so fast because we don't read. We like skim. We skim, and then we go to the points that they want to highlight, which is the bullets. The bullet points, or the points of emphasis that they put in that actual document, so you can ignore what was actually said, the law, and then went straight down to the color of law of that document. It specifically said, title, you're going to make me look it up. It's on my tablet, and I'm on my tablet. Y'all be asking too much. It's 15:08. Always somebody. Who said that? You're going to have to wait a second now. It's going to come up in a second. Does anybody else know it? Because I do know it. You're not sorry. You're apologetic. All right. It was Title 18, Section 1028. Title 18, Section 1028. Title 18, Section 1028. It's on the Department of Justice link. So if you put Title 18, 1028, go to Department of Justice. All right? Because a lot of these so-called corporations try to act as if they don't have to accept nationality identification cards as a means of identifying individuals. This is what you need to have. Have this printed, print this page out, and have it in your wallet, have it in your pocketbook, so wherever, in every place that you go, when they sit here and try to say that they're not going to accept your nationality identification card, like even if you go to Wine and Spirits and they card you, or if you go to the supermarkets and they try to card you, and they say, wherever they try to card you to check your identification, make sure you have this. Because when I showed her that, she read it, and I'm going to go to it. She read it. Can somebody push it? Can somebody post it? Title U.S.C. Title 18 U.S.C. 1028. Title 18 U.S.C. 1028. I'm going to read it for you. And I'm going to see if you catch it. I'm going to read it for you, and I'm going to see if you catch it, because she went over it 3 times, and the lady, because it was 2 of them, the lady behind her caught it. She was like, you ain't hear that? It says, I'm not even going to do it because I want to see if you catch it. Because you have to read to know, not read to get finished. Read to know, not read to get finished. Because we read, we skim, and we miss the whole point because we're too busy skimming because we don't want to read. Reading is the only thing that's going to free you, because in order for you to gain knowledge, you got to read. And in order to read, you got to be able to interpret what you're reading. Overstand. Islam? All right. So I'm going to read it. This is under the United States Department of Justice. All right. It's 1508 which is specifically mentions identification documents. 1508, which specifically mentions identification documents. 18 U.S.C. 1028. And if somebody can post that, that'd be great. And if somebody can go into the link and post the link in here, that would also be great. Section 1028 of Title 18 designates 3 special non-federal identification documents and gives them preferred treatment. These 3 documents, in absence of a national identification card, are the prime means by which an individual establishes his identity in the United States. The 3 documents are birth certificate, driver's license, and personal identification card. Now the lady read that 3 times and then she skipped down. And she was like, oh, see, it says it right here. She skipped down. As soon as she read that, she skipped down. A, birth certificate. B, driver's license. C, personal identification card. So here's my question. Did y'all get that? What did it qualify? Why is it that your nationality identification card cannot be denied as proof of your identity? That's in the so-called Federal Bureau of Investigation buildings. That's in any so-called tribunal. That's in every building established at Morocco has to adhere to this. Every freaking one. Because they're all subject to this corporate district because of their registration. I'm going to read this sentence again. Thank you. Section 1028 of Title 18 designates 3 special non-federal identification documents. Section 1028 of Title 18 designates 3 special non-federal identification documents and gives them preferred treatment. These 3 documents, in absence, these 3 documents, in absence, these 3 documents, in absence, these 3 documents, in absence of a national identification card are the primary means by which an individual establishes his identity. So what it's saying is, if you don't have a nationality, one, you're admitting you don't have a nationality, so you're admitting that you are salvageable cargo drifting on a piece of wood in the ocean, and you better have these other things. And everything that I say and everything that I've been saying for the past 3 weeks is leading up to the same thing. I hope you're catching the points that I'm pointing out. Because absence of a nationality identification card, you're a ward. Absence of a nationality identification card, you have a birth certificate. And that birth certificate lets you know who your mother sold you to when she birthed you free. That's what the birth certificate says. And everybody, if they ain't got a nationality record of live birth, everybody, if they don't have a nationality record of live birth, has a death certificate, which is a birth certificate from a corporate state. And that birth certificate tells you who owned you when you were born free from your mother because she signed a contract making you property of someone else. And when they signed that birth certificate, they started identifying and telling you that that was who you are. And the so-called corporate state's been transferring you and selling you all over the earth. All over the earth. Absence of a nationality identification card, you're driftwood. You're salvageable cargo. And the reason why I'm saying you're salvageable right now, because the service corporation don't own you right now, even though you have contracts to them. And because you're not in law contracts, you can't even use contract law. You're not lawful. You're lawless. Can't use it. Do you understand what I'm saying? What I'm saying is, because you don't have a nationality identification card, and because you don't have a nationality, the only way you're going to get a nationality identification card is if you proclaim and declare your nationality. So don't do the nationality identification card first, Moors. Declare and proclaim your nationality. Correct your status first. I don't know, Richard, Neil Bay. I don't. You have to let us know what. I can't. Not until I see what you're doing. I got to see what the documents look like. I can't say that yet. I can't even do that yet. We have to have a conversation outside of there where I can see the documentations and making sure they're not aligning you to the service corporations, because contrary to popular belief, many of the Moorish science temples are subjecting you to service corporation. Of course, you're not supposed to be doing birth certificates. You're supposed to be doing records of live birth. I ain't talking about the record of live birth. I'm talking about the name declaration and judicial proclamation. I'm talking about those documents. What is the language in those documents? And what is being done with those documents? And are you providing all of the other things that the Moors need? Act 6. Don't just say Act 6. Y'all gotta when y'all speak, y'all gotta speak properly. And to speak properly is to say, okay, Act 6 of the, I know what you're meaning, but you gotta say what you're meaning, because it's just not me on this platform. It's me and 29 or 28 or how many ever people else that are here. So when you say Act 6, you gotta say Act 6 of the bylaws, the constitutional bylaws states the following. Say that. And then we can kind of go somewhere with that. So if you got a birth certificate, a birth certificate is a death certificate. Because when your mom birthed you and manifested you free, she sold you because she didn't know who she was first. And that is pretty much where the temples are, the more science temples are on the hook for, because we were all supposed to be born knowing who we are. Over 100 years ago when those temples was established, those more science temples were established. And we're here today still having that same fight where they're aligning Moors unlawfully to that service corporation. And they need to accept that responsibility that they've shirked on their responsibility for the people by the people. Because the temples, the more science temples, are for the people by the people, for the people by the people, and they're supposed to be upholding all of those acts within the Constitution and bylaws of the Moorish Science Temple. Islam, if you don't do anything, proclaim and declare your nationality. So, like I said, download 18 U.S.C. 1028. Download that from the Department of Justice and have that. So wherever you go and they say like, oh, we can't accept this. Yes, baby, this is the law right here. And educate them. Don't get mad. Don't get upset. Have beacons of light with you so you can all stay in positive energy and say, look, right here it says, I know what the laws are. I just know that you probably think your policies that they might establish here in this little corporation supersede this. No, you're supposed to be listening to the Department of Justice. And when the Department of Justice, because that is what you're under, says, you have to follow that. And then if they say, well, my manager, well, then you go to the manager, you have a cool and calm conversation, and you say, look, if you're going to violate this, you're literally saying that you no longer want to do business here at Morocco because you're violating the laws. And the laws say this. And this is what you need to know. So have many copies. I always have many copies because they might be like, oh, can I have this? And I'd be like, no, go download it and print it out yourself, because I'm all about people going and downloading and printing things out themselves for their own edification. You understand what I'm saying? I said, so that is so excellent what you did at the, yes. I mean, let me tell you, I was there with one of my consuls, Fatima. I was there with Fatima, and I was just like in the spirit just said, you know what, Sharon, just go down, and I had my tablet with me. So the spirit said, just download that, and their law that they have to adhere to is based on, they got to adhere to it. So if you want to quote so-called statutes, you're quoting them to the subjects. You're quoting them to the subjects. You don't talk subject matter when you're in a tribunal. You talk personam jurisdiction. But when you're out at these so-called corporations, you're like, look, this is your law. You got to follow that because you're under this. You got to follow that. But if you're not going to follow that, then you are subject to me leaning you because you're violating the supreme laws of the land. And you're no longer going to be able to do business here. And it was 18 U.S.C. 1028. 18 U.S.C. 1028. 18 U.S.C. 1028. Section 1028. So once you put that up, go to the Department of Justice and read it. Read it like 20 times. Read it 20 times. Learn it. So we don't even have to realize the absence of nationality identifications, then you can sit here and require whoever comes in here, because then they're subject. Now you went from de jure law to corporate law. Now you went from de jure people no longer floating at sea to law. You went to law, right? So when they saw your nationality identification card, they were required to do a whole multitude of things. They were required, read comments, say comments you want me to read. Tell me what you want me to read. Stop talking in halves, y'all. I don't play halves. Speak what you want me to read. Read what? Read what? Read what comment? Y'all need to clarify. I know that social media, I know that Instagram, Twitter, all of these platforms have gotten people, as well as texting, has gotten people out of the habit of being thorough with their comment. Be thorough with your comment, because I'm a Sag. I'm very analytical, and whatever you ask me, I'm going to answer whatever you ask me. But you have to put it on in clarity. You have to clarify. So if you say Act 6, for instance, or you say re-comment, well, what comment? All of them? One specific one? Because I have been reading comments. Now, Rhonda Miller, and I'm going to say, if you don't have a status on your title on your platform, we are automatically, unless you tell us, we're automatically going to think you're not a Moorish American national. You haven't declared or proclaimed your nationality. So you're already going to be listed as a nom de guerre because your Facebook profile doesn't have your title on it. So we're automatically going to do that. So once we claim our nationality, are we exempt from taxes, or do we still file at the end of the year? You really want me to answer that question? I'll do it. All right. The reasons why Moors were the reasons why Moors that were classified as nom de guerres were filing taxes is because they were ignorant to that fact, and not realizing law or knowledge. Because to file taxes, one, you have to be a corporation. It's a corporation. Corporations only have income. That's two. So prior to nationality, you were filing because you were a corporation. You're a corpse. You got a death certificate. You're a corporation. So under that, yeah, you have to, literally. Or they're going to confiscate everything, because everything you so-called think you own, they have along with you in the trust. So there's certain things you have to do. I hope I answered that question. So do Moors pay taxes? No. Moors own the land, as well as the commerce on the land, as well as every corporation company trying to charge you for taxes. And there's laws that speak additionally to why you can never do that. I'm going to go past that. Well, I don't know what the comment for Jeremy was. That might be all the way up. I don't know what what's the law again? I already said. He asked the question. He said, what was the law again? And we stated it already. Why you worry about what Jerry said? Calvin. I tell you, y'all be on the wrong wave. Always on the wrong wave. Who conferred your nationality? Now, that's from Tony Mullen. Again, if you don't have a title behind your name, we know that you don't have nationality. So Moors declare and proclaim who they are, and by declaring and proclaiming who they are, by declaring and proclaiming who they are, we know what side of the fence you're on. Yeah, it's a voluntary system. Yep. Even in the straw. Study. Read what again? Status correction. Thank you. You can go into the file section of the group, or you can text me your email address and I'll send you all the documents. You can text me. Again, people, don't go in Messenger, because I don't check Messenger like that. Don't go to Messenger. Don't check messages like that. You want to text Sharon, Tracey Gale Bay, at 610. Yeah, you can go there too, at 610-803-1170. And you're going to say, I am blah, 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 blah. Here's my email address. Can you send me the documents to correct my status? And I'll send you all the documents that you need. It takes 5 seconds. I don't mind doing that. But when people send me messages in all these other platforms, I'm not going to hold myself responsible to do all that checking. I got my email and I have my text messages, and that is where you will send that information. Islam, Fatima, I'm just talking about you. I spoke you up. See, here goes Tony Mullen. Tony Mullen always be coming over and talking about the state. Yeah, exactly. What's your state? What's your state? That's the question you need to ask yourself. Only the state can confer nationality. No, actually, your mother determines your descendability. Actually. So when you're born, if your mother's a Moabite, you're a Moabite. And if you and your mother are Moabites, you're Moorish American nationals. And you don't have to go to any so-called state, because the state is the state of mind you're in. You confer that. And if 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 nationals, sovereigns of the land, say, I want to establish or manifest the state of Sharon, then it's so. Because you are a Moor and you are a sovereign, and only sovereigns can do anything in establishment at Morocco. All right. I agree. Yes, that's true. That's true. But you know, we even in our ignorance are very arrogant. And what would push information that is not factual. So I have to correct you in that. So you don't continue to do that, because when people, even us, when everybody sees you and you start talking, they automatically know the difference between a national and a difference between a nom de guerre or a corporate ward. They already know who's docked on land in their D-shore lawful capacity, and who's still swimming out at sea, and who can be salvaged. So it's important, Moors, whether you're declared or not, that your language changes, because your language will be what either condemns you or frees you. Because contrary to popular belief, everybody else knows that you are driftwood and you are drifting and salvageable if you are outside of nationality. I am by no means attempting or trying to belittle anyone. I'm not trying to hurt anyone or offend anyone. You're being hurt and offended and violated every day that you stay in that dead status. And my responsibility, my oath, is to get you to see how you've been identifying has been hurting not only you, but it's been hurting your children. It's been hurting your sons. Do we want to talk about the sons? I think I should talk about it since you brought it up. Yes, definitely be on a free conference call, y'all. Definitely be on a free conference call. But if you want nationality paperwork documentation, because what I'm going to email you is the name, the instructions on how to complete the documents, the instructions, the order form for the nationality identification card, the 7 locations, the name declaration, the judicial proclamation. 6 documents you're going to get. And that should get you to completely complete Tier 1 of the Moorish American Consulate, Tier 1, which is nationality. That's what I sent. When people send me an email requesting it with their name and their email address. So when I can log your name in case you send me a message again and I know who I'm talking to, as well as quickly send you the document so you don't have to wait for anybody or follow any of that other stuff. So, language is absolutely key. So when you sit here and say, oh, I'm a black person, they be like, oh, you salvageable. They automatically put you in salvage category. So they automatically take advantage of you. Automatic. I ain't saying this. This is reality. We've been taken advantage of because those Moor science temples who were supposed to be teaching the Moors to be themselves and clearing this and making laws and enforcing laws have been, playing the corporate game like everybody else, and violating and subjecting the Moors to these service corporations and not giving them the government that is what those temples were supposed to be. They were supposed to be the consulate, literally, for the people. So whenever they had a violation, the first thing they were supposed to do was when you go in there, you'd be like, I heard that this is where you come for your status. As soon as you got your status correction, they were supposed to fix all of those corporate debts. They were supposed to teach you and educate you on how to effectively get outside of that. So it's kind of like when you walked into a temple, a Moor science temple, was supposed to be kind of like the Wakandian effect. I use these as symbolism so you can get what I'm saying. So when you walked, it's like literally walking into Wakanda and them fixing and you're all of a sudden free, as opposed to being in the Badlands where all the nom de guerres were. So Wakandians are kind of like the Moorish Science Temple. They should have been out there freeing the people, and that's what Killmonger had an issue with, because he should never have been left out there to be subject when he had descendability, when he had nobility, when he had sovereignty. He should have been there with the Wakandans, and the Wakandans shouldn't have created a whole bubble on the whole planet. They should have been helping their brothers and sisters that were being victimized through colonialism all over the planet. So that's what the movie was trying to tell you. Those Wakandians, they almost lost everything because their own came in to show them that you're supposed to be helping everyone. You're not supposed to be living in a bubble. My point. You're supposed to be helping all Moors declare and proclaim their nationalities and not leaving your brothers and sisters cast out as driftwood, being hypothecated by everybody that wants to hypothecate them. So, I was realizing something. Moors, unconscious Moors, like when I was listening to music, and I was just realizing how much women complain about men. Women complain about males, all the time. A multitude of things that they complain about in the males, right? Cheating, infidelity, violence, whether it be physical or mental. All of these things we complain about men, our sons. And we don't take responsibility for why they are in the positions that they're in. Because the reasons they're in the positions that they're in is because of us. We put them in that dead status one, and we kind of held their hands behind their backs on how to really support us, but then require them to be to support us. You realize what we've done? We've established them and created them unable to defend and protect mom or the consorts that they have, because we don't have wives. So we manifested them. We didn't teach them how to defend themselves, how to secure our lands and our places, and we left them subject to a service corporations, which in effect violated us. So when our people have issues, the very first person that's usually violating them is their sons. Their sons are violating them. And these POW camps, and these so-called law enforcement agencies, in the military, and so they're protecting and defending, but they're protecting and defending the corporations, which is violating them at the same time, and violating their mothers at the same time. They said the number one cause of genocide in the so-called black community is abortions. Abortions are the number one genocidal practice that people utilize to kill our people. I say this, Moors, either declared or undeclared. If you had access to your estate and you were free, would you even consider aborting any children? If you knew the world was yours, all the wealth and the knowledge and the resources is yours, would you even be committing that atrocity? And the reality is the service corporation was never supposed to establish those corporations either. They were never supposed to be established. That's genocide, y'all. That's violation of United Nations. That's violations of the supreme laws of the land. And that's why coming soon, they'll all be closed too, because we'll be leading them all out of business because of the genocide. I say these things to appeal to you, and I say these things to get into your mental spirit, so these things will bother you, because they should bother you. They bother me. Did I hit everything I wanted to hit today? I'm not sure if I hit everything that I wanted to hit today. So when you go around with your nationality identification cards, Morris, make sure you have those documents print like 5 out and just have it in your wallet, so if they ever try to challenge you, you have lawful documentation to support them. And that's why you need to know those things, so they will not violate you. And I'm going to read this. The Albions are so mad that they don't have the titles of nobility, and there is no way possible for them to steal, capitalize, violate, etc. As long as we do what we have to do, one Albion told us Moors in a building his name was Tyrone L. Bay, whilst he had his state uniform on. LOL. We was like, not. That's the one Albion told us Moors in a building, we was in. His name was Tyrone L. Bay. That's funny. That's funny. One day you're going to realize you can't play both sides of the fence. You're going to be a Moor. You got to stand up in solidarity. You got to lead these plantations. And if you're going to be in those plantations, you got to be in honor. And you got to not subject yourself to corporate status. Islam. So if nobody has another question, and I wanted to talk about some other things, I can't remember. I can't recall what they were. And I talk about it as it comes into my brain. And as the spirit releases that information to me, it comes out of my brain. On Friday, I have plans to go to my domicile, open it up, see what's in there, see what it looks like. I plan on doing it on Friday. I'm still debating, however, because I want certain things in place first. So bear with me. Send me text messages if you want to inquire about certain things. Don't put it on social media because I don't really reply to social media. Unity is always key, absolutely. And we have more trying to do their own little things in their corporate capacities, but yet they want to tie you to a corporation that don't have standing. None of these corporations that don't have nationality have standing outside of, that has standing on the land. None of it. Absolutely none. Absolutely none. I was at Dunkin' Donuts yesterday. I was at a corporation, Dunkin' Donuts, and you know most of the people that are operating that corporation are from Hindustan. India, Hindustani and India. Yes. They're Hindustanians and they're from India. They're Hindustanians and they're from India. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong. Now, we were in there doing some consulate activity work. And they said we have a new policy where if you're here more than 20 minutes, you have to continuously purchase something from the store. This was an employee. I was like, well, where's that state that in the policy? And he came out with a piece of paper that was handwritten from probably either the supervisor or the boss. I was like, well, being as though you're at Morocco and not in India, you don't really make laws here. And if you want to make any laws and things like that, you kind of have to get treaty agreements. And we would have to establish those things through the treaty relationships that you have. I was like, so technically, you can't make that law or policy or code. And he got so mad when I said you ain't in India. He got so mad, and I was like, I don't care you get mad. There's laws here. All you individuals, all you foreigners that came here under those so-called United States visas and those so-called work permits and those so-called U.S. citizenships, y'all are unlawfully here. Those ICE agents are probably going to come get you. They really probably are. Already snatching y'all up. That's if you identify. That's if you came from even Nigeria or any of those other African nations under those agreements, because those were unlawful contracts and they didn't have the authority to make those agreements. And because that infrastructure is no longer valid or lawful because of the rise of the Moorish nation, the Moorish empire, it's just a matter of time. Once you no longer serve a purpose for them, they're going to deport you. So it's in your best interest to stand on your nationality and the treaty agreements that you may have with the Moorish and the Moroccan government. And if you don't have those, you might want to call the consulate to establish them. And in that establishment, because you're on our land, you don't make any laws. You make no laws. So Moors, lean Dunkin' Donuts. Because it's going to get to a point where your nationality identification card is going to be the only thing that you need. Actually, it's already the only thing that you need on this landmass to get everything that you need, because you own everything. So somebody lean Dunkin' Donuts. Specifically, well, lean them all. So if that's it, I'm done. If that's it, I'm done. I know Darian's tried to sneak his little way up in here. Islam Darian's, how are you? Pax, that's 4. Calvin, Cat, you just need to kind of start with nationality. What I'll say to everybody who's outside of their status, especially if you don't have your Bay or L titles on your profile page, start at nationality group 1. Don't ask any other questions. You guys change the status before you even ask any other questions and get anything else done. Status is the first issue you have to correct. Can't correct anything else till you first stop drifting as driftwood in the sea. Can't ask any other questions. I mean, you can, but It's no point, because once I see your name on your profile page, I know that's the first thing you have to start. So get tier 1 of the grid done. And if you're not in the group, get in the group. If you're not in the group, get in the group. That's the Moorish American Consulate NE group. Download the documents. If you don't have them, send me an email. Or not email, send me a text message with your email address and I'll send them to you. So you can at least get on the grid and get your status corrected. And once you get your status corrected, which is your standing in law, in society, and in the state, which is the state, the Moroccan state, ain't nothing, everything else is corporate, subject to the Moors. And just like how that article that it's only like, it was a quick 1-minute video where it talked about how they're mad about imperialism trumping globalism. Imperialism does trump globalism, because that's your sovereignty. They scared to say sovereignty because they be gang warring against sovereignty right now, Islam. Because they've been sitting here with the so-called sovereign citizens crap that ain't no sovereign a citizen, and sovereign is a sovereign in his own right, and only Moors can be that, which is why they wanted to put the hater campaign about sovereign citizens out. So they won't ever mention that word unless they're trying to make it seem dirty. So they're never going to mention it, so they'll use other words, and that's where they're using imperial. In order to have an imperial empire, you have to be sovereign. Get some knowledge bases. In order to 610-803-1170. 610-803-1170. So they're mad about that. And they're mad about the liens. Well, don't be mad about the liens. Be mad about the fact that you're outside of law, and be mad about you're outside of law and trying to put your codes and statutes above the law, which actually gave you the lien. We're not liening people that are in harmony with the supreme laws of the land. So if you're in harmony with the supreme laws of the land under love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and whenever we come into your establishment, you are accepting the nationality identification cards. You're not charging people taxes, and the reality is the Moors taxes, and the reality is you shouldn't be charging the Moors Federal Reserve notes for any services within your building, because you're not paying to be here. Lawful currency. You're not paying the Moroccan government to be here. That's why you shouldn't be charging them for anything in your establishment. That's all corporate. We can lien you just for charging the fiat. We can lien you just for charging the fiat. It's 610-803-1170. Islam. And you can go to the consulate websites there too, if I'm saying it too fast. So, yeah, lien them all. Lien everybody outside of law. Everybody. Because we got to get the lawlessness off the land. The lawlessness off the land. Islam and the peace officers are already here as commanded. And all of these hypothecators, these unlawful tribunals and unlawful organizations that's been violating the Moors in every aspect of y'all ain't even telling me I got this white stuff on my lips, in every aspect of Morocco. They'll soon see. The squatters are running out of options, and despite facing shore deportation to whatever land, I know, yeah, they're running out. They don't have any options.